Chapter 1057. Don't even think about it. AO2 roared angrily, feeling extremely aggrieved. AO2 had more than 70% of the true dragon bloodline. He had been the top talent of Sky Monster Valley since he was young. He was said to be able to compete with the arch-god. There were very few people among the younger generation in Eastern Wilderness who could compete with him. Although he was defeated by Lu Ming in the Battle of Providence, only Lu Ming and the arch-god were stronger than him in the entire Eastern Wilderness. The only other people who could compete with him were Shuejiani and Fengxian. He was still a peerless talent with a bright halo. However, when he came to Middle Continent, he was suppressed by a random young talent and wanted to capture him as a mount. At this moment, his confidence was severely damaged. Swoosh, swoosh. Beams of peerlessly sharp silver sword light sliced through the sky toward AO2's day. Even though AO2 had the true dragon bloodline, he was completely suppressed and torn apart by the terrifying sword chi. Surrender and be my mount, and I won't kill you. Otherwise, you'll die today. Song Fei's cold voice came from the silver battle sword. Don't even think about it. AO2 shouted. Given his pride, he would rather die than be Song Fei's mount. Then die. The silver battle sword shone brightly, and the sword chi pierced through the air toward AO2's head. AO2 frantically retreated and blocked with all his might, but his head was almost chopped off. There was a deep wound on his neck. His body shrunk rapidly and escaped into the distance. Don't even think about leaving. Song Fei clearly had no intention of letting AO2 go. He chased after AO2's day. At this moment, a phoenix cry resounded. A divine bird that looked like a phoenix flew towards Song Fei. With a flap of its wings, a sky full of flames spread towards Song Fei. Song Fei was shocked. His sword chi whistled and cut through the flames. However, this delay allowed AO2 to rush into the distance and disappear without a trace. The divine bird that looked like a phoenix was extremely fast. It flapped its wings and turned into a beam of light, rushing into the distance. Song Fei shouted angrily and chased after it. However, after a while, he failed to catch up. Lu Ming could clearly see that the phoenix-like divine bird was Fengxian. She possessed the phoenix bloodline and was shockingly fast. Song Fei returned to his human form and snorted coldly. What Donghuang prodigy? You're just trash. After saying that, he flew back into the tavern with the other two disciples of the celestial martial sword sect and continued eating and drinking. In the crowd, Shuejiani and Shizhan were also watching the battle. Their faces turned ugly, but they didn't dare to make a sound. Song Fei's battle prowess was shocking, and Shuejian knew that he was not Song Fei's opponent. I didn't expect there to be so many geniuses in the Middle Continent. I heard that Song Fei is only the third-rank genius of one of the factions, the Sky Martial Sword faction. Shizhan sighed. The battle just now had left him shaken. The Central Continent is indeed the center of the Divine Wilderness continent. Geniuses are everywhere. In the Eastern Wilderness, only Lu Ming and the Emperor can defeat Song Fei. Blood Sword nodded, and the two of them left. Lu Ming didn't think much of it. He wasn't surprised by the outcome. AO2 and Song Fei were third-grade prodigies, but AO2 was only average among third-grade prodigies, while Song Fei was at the top among third-grade prodigies. He was close to the second-grade prodigies, so AO2 naturally wasn't his match. Lu Ming also returned to the tavern and continued eating and drinking. Soon, he learned some new news. The reason so many prodigies had gathered in Tianxia City was that the World Academy's Jade Annulus would be opened in 3 days. The World Academy's Jade Annulus was said to contain endless mysteries. Martial artists who comprehended it would obtain great opportunities and benefits. It was even rumored that the All Things Jade Annulus contained a great secret and a divine treasury. However, it hadn't been opened for many years. The World Academy's Jade Annulus had always been closed to the public, but this time, it suddenly announced that it was open to the public. All the heroes of the world were free to visit and comprehend it. Once the news was out, it naturally attracted a large number of sky prides. The Jade Annulus? Since I'm here, I can't miss it. Lu Ming continued eating and drinking. The news he heard next wasn't too important. It was all about which prodigies were more powerful, which beauties were prettier, and so on. After eating and drinking, Lu Ming walked out of the tavern and found an inn to stay in. 3 days passed quickly. Lu Ming left Tianxia City and rushed to the World Academy. He wasn't the only one. Many prodigies stepped into the air and flew over. At a glance, the sky was filled with streaks of rainbow light, like a meteor shower. The World Academy was very close to Tianxia City. Soon, they arrived. Lu Ming was a little surprised when he saw it from afar. A snow-white palace floated in the air, emitting dazzling rays of light. The palace was extremely huge, like a city in the sky. It seemed to be completely made of jade. This was the core of the World Academy. Below the palace, there was a divine mountain covered in clouds. The spiritual qi was dense, and spiritual herbs were everywhere. Spiritual beasts were flying around. It was like a fairyland. The endless divine mountain below and the white jade palace in the sky were the complete World Academy. However, only the core of the World Academy could enter the white jade palace. Lu Ming and the rest naturally couldn't enter. They landed outside the World Academy and walked along an ancient bluestone path. Soon, they saw a huge stone tablet. There were 4 words written on the tablet: World Academy. The words were bold and powerful. At first glance, there was a terrifying aura that spread out. According to legend, these 4 words were left behind by a sacred emperor of the ancient Saint dynasty. They contained the sacred emperor's will. Tens of thousands of years ago, when the ancient Saint dynasty hadn't declined and ruled the 8-Baron region, the World Academy was a place for the ancient Saint dynasty to cultivate talents. Countless experts had walked out of the World Academy. However, after the ancient Saint dynasty's Xie family declined, the World Academy became independent and became an overlord force. After passing by the stone tablet, there was a white jade staircase. The group climbed up the white jade staircase and arrived at a huge square. At this time, the square was filled with people. At a glance, there were probably tens of thousands of people. They were all geniuses. Everyone, the universal jade annulus is in front. Please follow me. A white-haired elder appeared and smiled. Then, he flew forward and the group followed. After flying past dozens of mountains, the terrain in front of them leveled out. There were no mountains, only hills. On the hills, there were clouds and mist, blocking the view. The group couldn't see through it. Hooray! Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. According to legend, the World Academy was a force that cultivated both martial arts and inscriptions. There were experts who specialized in martial arts, and also those who cultivated inscriptions. There were also rumors that the World Academy had more than one sacred emperor. There were 2 of them. One was a martial arts sacred emperor, and the other was an inscription sacred emperor. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Figures flashed, and a total of 8 elders appeared. Including the one who led the way, there were 9 of them. The 9 elders floated in the air and started to inscribe inscriptions. The inscriptions disappeared into the surrounding space. Hoo-hoo. Chapter 1058. Countless jade discs floated in the air. As far as the eye could see, it was densely packed with jade discs. Every single one of them seemed to be made of polished white jade. They were as smooth as a mirror as they floated vertically in the air. There was no end in sight. It was unknown how many of them there were. This was the all-jade disc. It was very different from what they had imagined. Lu Ming had imagined that the all-jade disc would be a huge jade disc. He didn't expect there to be so many of them. This is the all-jade disc. You can comprehend it on your own, but you can't destroy it. Otherwise, the World Academy won't let you off the hook. The last sentence of the old man who led the way made everyone's heart skip a beat. Everyone nodded. They didn't dare. Well, you see it. In front of each jade disc, there are 1 or several jade platforms. You can only comprehend it if you sit cross-legged on the jade platforms. The old man introduced. So that's what the jade platforms are for. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. A few jade platforms were suspended in front of each jade wall. Lu Ming had seen them long ago. It turned out that they were used for comprehension. This meant that each jade disc could only be comprehended by a few people at most. The jade platforms were very small and could only accommodate 1 person at a time. Well, you can comprehend it on your own. The old man nodded and left with the other 8. Whoosh, whoosh. As soon as the old man left, some people flew forward to find the jade discs. Lu Ming looked around and saw many familiar faces. Jing Kongling, Chu Kuang, Zhang Wenjing, and Hai Ziming from Floating Mountain were among them. In addition, Sandalwood Fairy, Ian Bupo from Sky Eagle Castle, Sanguinarum from Cold Blood Hall, other talents from Cold Blood Hall, and Junyu from Demonic Mountain were among them. Lu Ming also saw familiar faces from Eastern Wilderness: Shui Jiani, Shizhan, Ao2, and Feng Xian. Di Shen. Suddenly, Lu Ming's gaze shifted, and he saw the Emperor God. Beside him was Dongfang Yu. It seems that all the top talents from Eastern Wilderness are here. Lu Ming pondered for a moment before flying forward. Lu Ming went to the jade wall at the very front and carefully examined it. Suddenly, a tyrannical saber in tint spread out, causing his expression to change slightly. In front of this jade wall, there was only a jade platform. At this moment, there was already a young man sitting cross-legged on it. Lu Ming continued to move forward. He discovered that each piece of jade gave off a completely different feeling. It's really strange. There are artistic conceptions, and it seems like there are absolute arts as well. However, they are extremely mysterious. If you want to gain anything from them, it will depend on your comprehension ability and luck. Lu Ming strolled around casually. Many people had already found their targets and were sitting cross-legged on the jade platform. Lu Ming, the arrangement of these jade discs is very strange. In my opinion, there must be a great secret. On his shoulder, Dandan transmitted his voice to Lu Ming. Big secret? What secret? What did you see? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. There were many rumors about the Vientiane jade disc in the outside world, but the most recognized rumor was that the Vientiane corn was connected to a mysterious place that contained divine treasures. The ancient World Academy could open it, but that method was lost later on. The World Academy had not opened it for many years. It was said that that place was very strange. In ancient times, supreme experts would often enter seclusion and cultivate there, leaving behind many relics and cave abodes of experts. This was very tempting, but unfortunately, they could not enter later on. I don't know. I can't figure it out in a short time. I need time, Dandan said. He jumped down from Lu Ming's shoulder and walked around alone. Lu Ming could not be bothered with him and looked for the jade discs alone. Soon, Lu Ming came in front of a jade wall. Suddenly, he vaguely heard a dragon's roar, and a true dragon pounced at him. This is it. There was only a jade platform in front of this jade wall. No one had come yet. Lu Ming flew up, sat cross-legged on the jade platform, and closed his eyes to comprehend. Roar. The dragon's roar rang out. Lu Ming seemed to see a true dragon walking in the void. The dragon's aura was vast and mighty, causing the void to collapse and the earth to sink. It seems like every move contains supreme battle strength. Is this a true dragon battle technique? No, it doesn't seem like it. Lu Ming's mind raced. He felt that every move of the true dragon was a battle technique, but it also seemed like it was not. It was hard to grasp. Lu Ming tried to comprehend it carefully, but in the end, he gained nothing. No, why should I comprehend any battle technique from it? I can compare it with my 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, and he began to comprehend. In this way, he indeed felt that he had benefited a lot. His comprehension of the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps increased rapidly. He had already cultivated the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps to the 7th step. At this step, it was even more difficult to cultivate. Every step was very difficult. Without luck, he might not be able to cultivate it in his lifetime. Every bit of improvement was rare and precious. Lu Ming sat cross-legged for 3 days. When he felt that he could not gain anything more, he got up and left to look for the next piece. In the sky, in the huge white jade palace, a few elders were discussing something. Sect Master, is this really going to work? One of them asked. This is the only way. The sacred mansion has not been opened for many years. This time, with the arrival of the Great Era and the gathering of prodigies, everyone has great opportunities. Perhaps this is a chance. Perhaps someone can open the sacred mansion's secret realm. A white-haired elder with a sage-like demeanor said, "I hope so." The others sighed. Lu Ming looked at a few more jade discs, but none of them were suitable for him. After looking at more than a dozen jade discs, Lu Ming finally found a suitable one. This jade disc still had dragon roars coming out. Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the jade platform. Just like the previous jade discs, there were true dragons rolling in the void. However, what was different this time was that there were two true dragons. The two true dragons were fighting fiercely, their roars shaking the heavens. This is a true dragon battle skill. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The two true dragons clawed at each other. Dragon might lashed out as the dragons soared into the sky. Every move had destructive power. This was clearly a powerful true dragon battle skill. This battle skill is comparable to a divine battle skill. It will be very useful to me. Lu Ming was excited. After he used Bloodline Fusion to transform into 9 dragons, he usually only used the 9 dragons Heaven Stomping Step and the Hell Suppressing Heaven skill. Other than that, the 9 dragons relied on brute force to fight and lacked killing moves. If he had this true dragon battle skill, he would definitely be stronger when he transformed into 9 dragons. Lu Ming carefully observed the battle between the two true dragons. He sat there for 10 days. Lu Ming had been watching the battle between the two true dragons all the time. His understanding of the true dragon's combat skills was already quite good. Scram, this jade disc is mine. Suddenly, a cold shout was heard, causing many people to involuntarily turn their heads to look. Xue Jiani and Huang Kuei. Lu Ming's heart jumped. Xue Jiani was sitting cross-legged in front of a jade disc. Huang Kuei coldly looked at Xue Jiani. It was Huang Kuei who told Xue Jiani to scram. Xue Jiani frowned and said, "Brother, I was the one who got here first. So what if you came first? You're just a country bumpkin from the eastern wilderness. What right do you have to comprehend the myriad jade discs?" Scram. Chapter 1059. Huang Kuei said coldly. His eyes were cold and filled with disdain. He looked like a young master from a big city looking at a bumpkin from the countryside. Xue Jiani's face darkened. He had his pride. Before the Battle of Providence, he was ranked second on the list of top 1,000 talents, second only to the Emperor God. No one in the eastern wilderness dared to talk to him like that. Huang Kuei actually told him to get lost, and said that he was not qualified to comprehend here. The arrogant Xue Jiani was furious. "What's with that look? Bumpkin, do you want to die?" Huang Kuei scolded. "Let's see if you have what it takes to get this jade disc." Xue Jiani said coldly. "What do you mean by that? Do you want to challenge me?" Huang Kuei said, "That's right." The blood sword Dao was so arrogant, yet he was actually being looked down upon like this. He couldn't take it. He wanted everyone to know his strength. "Ha ha ha, since you want to be humiliated, I'll fulfill your wish. Let's go out and fight." Huang Kuei laughed heartily as his figure soared into the sky. He flew out of the all-appearances Jade Walls area and arrived in the sky not far away. Xue Jiani's figure moved and also rushed into the sky, arriving in front of Huang Kuei. The two of them stood in the air. Interesting. That guy seems to be from the eastern wilderness. There's no expert in that barren land. He's just asking to be humiliated by challenging Huang Kuei. Let's go and see. Many people smiled and flew into the sky to watch from afar. Many people directly raised their heads to look at the Vientiane Jade Wall. The eastern wilderness has always been the weakest of the 5 domains. There are almost no experts there. The so-called talents in the eastern wilderness are all ignorant. They think that they're invincible just because they're the best in the eastern wilderness. They don't know that there's always someone stronger. That's right. Not long ago, a flood dragon from the eastern wilderness was also very arrogant, but he was completely defeated by Song Fei from the Sky Martial Sword Sect. He almost became a mount. Haha, is that so? AO2, Feng Xian, and even Di Shun and Dong Fengyu frowned when they heard the disdainful whispers from the crowd. At this moment, Huang Kuei and Xue Jiani's bodies were covered in blood-red light. Both of them had cultivated blood essence. Blood essence? You're just showing off in front of an expert. Huang Kuei sneered. Xue Jiani, unsheath. Clang. A blood-red battle sword flew out from between Blood Sword's eyebrows. As it flew out, It grew to 10 meters long. As it grew, it split into 2, then 4, and finally 16 blood-red battle swords that danced around Bloodsword. Kill! Bloodsword yelled. He formed a sword finger and waved it. The 16 swords turned into 16 blood-red sword lights and stabbed toward Huang Kuei. As the 16 swords danced in the air, they erupted with boundless sword chi. 16 blood-red swords wrapped in boundless sword chi blasted toward Huang Kuei. Xue Jinyi's battle power was more than 10 times stronger than when he was in the Battle of Providence. His cultivation had reached perfection in spirit embryo, and his conception of blood and sword had become one. As his sword chi swept past, terrifying marks were left in the space. Blood Flame Emperor's Claw. Seeing this, Huang Kuei did not dare to be careless. As the blood-red light spread out, he continued to attack with his claws. In an instant, he had attacked hundreds of times. Huang Kuei attacked hundreds of times, and the boundless blood-red claw lights flooded toward Xue Jinyi. Every claw light was terrifyingly sharp and gave off a scorching aura. It had the power to burn and corrode. Huang Kuei's cultivation was also at perfection. Pong, pong, pong. The blood-red claw lights and the sword chi clashed, and the air trembled. Blood light rushed into the sky, and the sword chi surged. The blood-red claw lights and the sword chi canceled each other out, and they were evenly matched. Huang Kuei's face was ugly and gloomy. He couldn't even take down a country bumpkin from Eastern Desolation, which made him feel embarrassed. Kill! Bloodthirsty Realm! Huang Kuei yelled and used Bloodthirsty Great Art. A blood-red light shrouded Xue Jinyi. Being shrouded by bloodthirsty great art, Xue Jinyi's face changed. He felt the blood in his body boiling, and a powerful force was pulling at his blood. Swoosh! Xue Jinyi hurriedly retreated, wanting to leave the range of bloodthirsty great art. However, Huang Kuei held him tightly, and Xue Jinyi couldn't escape from Huang Kuei's attacks. Helpless, Xue Jinyi could only execute Bloodline Fusion and transform into a blood-red battlesword. However, Huang Kuei also executed Bloodline Fusion and transformed into a blood-red claw. The blood claw and the blood sword clashed, and Xue Jinyi flew back rapidly. Under the influence of bloodthirsty great art, Xue Jinyi was at a disadvantage. Pong, pong, pong. After continuous clashes, Huang Kuei gradually gained the upper hand and suppressed Xue Jinyi. After dozens of moves, the blood-red battle sword crumbled, and Xue Jinyi spat out large mouthfuls of blood. His face was pale. Xue Jinyi was defeated and wasn't Huang Kuei's match. The blood claw flashed and transformed back into Huang Kuei. He looked at Xue Jinyi with disdain and sneered. I said that a country bumpkin like you isn't qualified to cultivate in Myriad Jade Wall. Xue Jinyi's face darkened, but he didn't say anything. He had lost. What did a loser have to say? I heard that you used to be ranked second on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Eastern Barren Territory. It seems that the Eastern Barren Territory is really weak. If the second place is so weak, then the first place can't be any better. I heard that the first place is called Disha. I guess he must be here today. Tell him to come out, and I'll take care of him today. Then, you people from the Eastern Barren Territory can pack up and go back to the Eastern Barren Territory. Huang Kuei was incomparably arrogant. He wanted to trample on the people of the Eastern Barren Territory today to make himself more famous. Are you looking for me? A cold voice sounded, and a figure stepped out. Lu Ming's eyes moved. It was Di Shun. Huang Kuei looked at Di Shun and said, You're Di Shun? That's right. Di Shun nodded calmly. You came at the right time. Come, I'll take care of you too. Huang Kuei sneered. Clang. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying sword power rose from Di Shun's body. A mighty sword chi was as tall as the sky and exuded supreme pressure. Huang Kuei's expression changed drastically, and he broke out in cold sweat. Spiritual God, you're a spiritual god. Huang Kuei shouted in horror. Clang. A sword cry resounded as the sword chi slashed toward Huang Kuei. Huang Kuei retreated in horror. At the same time, he performed Bloodline Fusion and used all his strength to block the attack. But it was in vain. The sword chi slashed and the blood claw exploded. Huang Kuei's body smashed into the ground below like a cannonball, creating a huge pit. Huang Kuei lay in the pit and kept coughing up blood. The crowd fell silent, and then they burst into an uproar. This person is so strong. He defeated Huang Kuei in one move. He's a spiritual god. I didn't expect there to be such a genius in the Eastern Barren Territory. His name is Dishan. Before the Battle of Providence, he was ranked first on the list of top 1,000 talents. Later, he was defeated by someone called Lu Ming in the Battle of Providence. Now, he's ranked second. What? There's a stronger genius in the Eastern Barren Territory? Chapter 1060. Dishan did not even look at Huang Kuei as he turned around and was about to head for the Jade Annulus. You think you can leave after beating up someone from Cold Blood Hall? A cold voice rang out as a blood-robed youth stepped out and blocked Dishan's path. It's Sanguinarum, someone exclaimed. Sanguinarum is going to make a move. Even more people's eyes were burning with passion. Some time ago, they had heard that Sanguinarum had entered the spiritual god realm while Dishan was also at the spiritual god realm. The two spiritual god realm geniuses were about to make a move, which made many people's eyes light up. For Dishan to be able to break through to the spiritual god realm at his age, he was definitely a second-class genius. It was rare to see two second-class geniuses make a move. You want to make a move? Then let's do it. I also want to see how outstanding the Central Continent geniuses are. Dishan said calmly, but his tone was full of confidence. Now that he had made a major breakthrough in the space will, he was confident that he was not weaker than anyone. Even if he faced Lu Ming again, he was 100% confident that he could defeat Lu Ming. Then I'll fulfill your wish. Sanguinarum's eyes were cold as his body emitted a shocking blood-red light. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, many figures appeared in the sky. All of them were giants among men. Jing Kongling, Sandalwood Fairy, Junyu, In Bupo, Kong Xian. Some people recognized that they were all second-class geniuses. There were more than 10 of them. This made people's hearts tremble. Apart from the Battle of Providence, this was the gathering of the second-class geniuses. Obviously, the battle between Sanguinarum and Dishan had attracted them. Boom, boom. Sanguinarum and Dishan released a terrifying aura at the same time. A saber radiance shot up into the sky from Sanguinarum's body, while a sword radiance shot out from Dishan's body. The saber radiance and sword radiance clashed, and their power was extremely terrifying. Clang! The sword radiance and saber radiance met in the air, and an earth-shattering explosion erupted. At this moment, Sanguinarum and Dishan moved at the same time. Blood-gathering heavenly saber, Big Dipper Emperor sword. As soon as they made their move, both of them executed low-grade divine rank martial skills. At their level, there was no need for probing anymore. Every move they made was a killing move, and they had to carry out an incomparably terrifying killing move. Boom! The saber and the sword collided. Saber light and sword chi overflowed, cutting the space in half. One side was the saber world, and the other side was the sword world. The two of them retreated at the same time before colliding again. Boom, boom, boom. In just a few breaths, the two of them had already exchanged dozens of blows. Spatial cracks were constantly being torn apart in the sky. The deep spatial cracks seemed to be able to suck in one's mind. It was incomparably terrifying. Many people kept retreating, not daring to stand too close, because their combat strength was too strong, and it far surpassed an ordinary first-level spirit god. Even the energy that leaked out from their bodies was capable of killing an ordinary first-level spirit god. One could only imagine how terrifying it was. There were only a dozen or so people who could stand at the front to watch the battle. They were all at the same level as Sanguinarum. The Emperor God's combat strength has made a major breakthrough. It's even more unfathomable now. Lu Ming did not fly up into the sky. Instead, he sat cross-legged on the jade platform in front of the jade wall and looked up. He felt that the Emperor God had not used his full strength at all. Bloodthirsty Realm. Sanguinarum executed the Bloodthirsty Realm, but it was useless. It was split apart by the Emperor God's sword. Sanguinarum's face turned solemn. He was starting to lose confidence in the battle. How can he be so strong? The Emperor God is only ranked second in the Eastern Wilderness. How can there be such an expert in the eastern wilderness? Sanguinarum's mind raced. Finally, he executed the bloodline fusion and turned into a blood-red bat. After executing the bloodline fusion, Sanguinarum let out a cry and released a terrifying sound wave attack. At the same time, it flapped its wings and charged towards the Emperor God like a blood-red lightning bolt. However, the Emperor God stood there motionless. "You're not dodging? Go to hell." Sanguinarum's eyes were filled with murderous intent as he charged towards the Emperor God. However, when he reached the Emperor God, he felt that something was amiss. It was just an illusion. At this moment, the Emperor God suddenly appeared behind Sanguinarum and slashed out with his sword. This is space essence? Many people's pupils contracted rapidly. They were in disbelief. Oh no! Sanguinarum sensed danger and flapped his wings to dodge the attack. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, the Emperor God stepped in the air and his body flashed in and out of the air. He was extremely fast and charged towards Sanguinarum. Instant step. However, compared to the Battle of Providence, the Emperor God's instant step was much stronger. He was extremely fast and could move a few miles in a flash. It was impossible to catch him. Space essence. It's really the space essence. This time, even more people saw it, and some people cried out in alarm. Gosh, it's really the space essence. How is this possible? Someone in the eastern wilderness has comprehended the space essence. Unbelievable. Yang Patian, one of the top 5 youths, has comprehended the space essence. I didn't expect someone in the eastern wilderness to have comprehended the space essence as well. Waves of exclamations and cries of disbelief could be heard from all around. Space and time were king. The space essence was too strong. It was not just a saying. Even Jing Kongling and the other second-class prodigies looked solemn. In their hearts, the Emperor God was an extremely terrifying opponent. Space essence. It's the space essence. Then I'll break your space essence. Sanguinarum shouted. The blood-winged heavenly bat opened its mouth and roared. A terrifying sound wave burst out. Wherever the sound wave passed, the space rippled like water. In the end, it cracked open, revealing deep spatial rifts. The Emperor God frowned. His aura became stronger and stronger as he slashed out with his sword. This sword contained 3 types of concepts: the sword essence, the golden flame essence, and the space essence. This sword moved the space and formed a large space crack. The sword light slashed out. It was unstoppable as it slashed towards Sanguinarum. Sanguinarum shouted. Blood-winged heavenly bat's wings were like blades as it slashed out with its strongest attack. Boom! Heaven and earth shook. Rays of light swept across the sky. A pillar of light shot up into the sky, scattering the clouds in the sky. A hole seemed to have been punched in the sky. Bang! A figure retreated quickly. It was the blood-winged heavenly bat. As the blood-winged heavenly bat retreated, he turned back into his human form. However, there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Sanguinarum was injured. Do you still want to fight? The Emperor God's hair fluttered. His eyes were like lightning as he stared at Sanguinarum. He had an invincible confidence. That's it for today. We'll fight another day. Sanguinarum's face turned ugly. He snorted coldly. Then, his figure flashed, and he instantly disappeared. Sanguinarum actually left just like that. Everyone knew that Sanguinarum had lost. He had lost to the Emperor God. Chapter 1061. Di Shun, a genius from Eastern Wilderness, had defeated Sanguinarum, shocking everyone. Di Shun is so powerful. He didn't even use his bloodline. I didn't expect there to be someone like him in Eastern Wilderness. I heard that Di Shun is a direct descendant of a martial emperor in Eastern Wilderness. He's so talented that he's ranked 2nd in Eastern Wilderness. What? Di Shun is ranked 2nd in Eastern Wilderness? I thought he was the top genius in Eastern Wilderness. Who's ranked 1st then? Lu Ming is ranked 1st. Di Shun is so powerful, but Lu Ming is able to defeat him. What kind of genius is he? Looks like this generation is a great era. Even Eastern Wilderness has risen to prominence. Geniuses like Lu Ming and Di Shun are born. Many people were amazed by Di Shun's power. They were also curious about Lu Ming, who was able to defeat Di Shun. Sanguinarium is so unlucky. He has lost a few battles in the past year. He was defeated by a genius called Lu Shaoqing a year ago, and now he's defeated by Di Shun. That's how the fight between geniuses works. The weak will become the stepping stones of the stronger. Some people who had grudges with Cold Blood Hall deliberately dug up Sanguinarium's past. Looks like we have another powerful opponent in the future, Demonic Mountain Lord said, his eyes filled with a strong fighting spirit. He's really terrifying. In Bupo nodded. His combat strength was almost the same as Sanguinarium's, and he was probably no match for Di Shun. According to the World Academy, Tiansu Cave is open. Anyone who passes it can enter the marrow cleansing pool once. Suddenly, a piece of news came, causing an uproar at the scene. What? Tiansu Cave is open? Anyone who passes it can enter the marrow cleansing pool? Is that true? It's true. It's definitely true. The news came from the headmaster of the World Academy. Gosh, it's great that I can enter the marrow cleansing pool. I want to give it a try too. You? Stop dreaming. Who doesn't know that the World Academy's Sky Market Cave is terrifyingly difficult? Since ancient times, very few people have been able to pass it. How would you know if you don't try? I heard that the Heavenly Ruin Cave doesn't test one's strength. Everyone who enters the Heavenly Ruin Cave will face different situations. There was once a martial king who entered the Heavenly Ruin Cave. That's true. Let's give it a try. After an intense discussion, countless people flew in a certain direction. Sky Market Cave? Marrow Cleansing Pool? I didn't expect the World Academy to open the Marrow Cleansing Pool. I can fight for it. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The World Academy's Marrow Cleansing Pool was famous all over the world. Entering the Marrow Cleansing Pool would allow a martial artist's physical body to undergo a metamorphosis, complete a sublimation, and finally reach perfection. One of the most important conditions for breaking through to the Martial Emperor realm was to have a perfect Grade 9 physical body. However, after cultivating the perfect Grade 9 physical body, it would be difficult to complete it. There would be a hurdle that would be difficult to cross. However, the Marrow Cleansing Pool could complete the perfect Grade 9 physical body and lay the first foundation for breaking through to the Martial Emperor realm. Many peerless geniuses who aspired to become martial emperors were tempted. For example, Jing Kongling, Junyu, and the others. Even those geniuses who knew that they had no chance of breaking through to the martial emperor realm were tempted. Who wouldn't want to have a stronger physical body? Lu Ming was also tempted. His physical body had reached the perfect Grade 9 physical body. If he could cultivate his physical body to the perfect Grade 9 physical body in the Marrow Cleansing Pool, it would save him a lot of trouble in the future. Lu Ming also left the Jade platform and followed the crowd in a certain direction. Soon, they arrived in front of a huge mountain. This mountain was extremely huge. The bottom of the mountain was at least 100 miles wide. At the foot of the mountain, there was a huge cave. This was the Sky Market Cave. The Sky Market Cave led from here to the other side of the mountain. It was 100 miles long. As long as one could pass through the Sky Market Cave and come out from the other side, one would be considered to have passed the Sky Market Cave and be given a slot to enter the Marrow Cleansing Pool. However, the Sky Market Cave was extremely mysterious. It was said that everyone who entered would encounter different things. Since ancient times, very few people had been able to pass it. It was extremely mysterious. I'll give it a try. A young man rushed into the Sky Market Cave. Soon, a light flashed outside the Sky Market Cave, and he was teleported out. He returned to the crowd dejectedly. What happened? What did you encounter? Someone asked. As soon as I entered, I encountered a powerful beast. It slapped me, and I was severely injured. That's why I was teleported out. Fortunately, the injury was fake. I recovered as soon as I came out. That person replied, I'll give it a try. Another person rushed in. After a while, he was also teleported out. Someone asked him. The person said that he encountered a battle sword and it directly chopped him into pieces. Everyone looked at each other. Indeed, everyone who entered would encounter different situations. It was impossible to know the flaws, weaknesses, and patterns. Next, the Sky Prides entered the Sky Market Cave one after another. However, none of them succeeded. Jing Kongling, Junyu, and the other Sky Prides did not move. They stood in the void and watched quietly. Lu Ming did not move either. He was not in a hurry and let the others go first. In the end, Lu Ming closed his eyes and comprehended the will of heaven and earth. For 10 days, countless people went in. However, none of them succeeded. Everyone was dejected. Chu Kuang, Zhang Wenjing, and the other Grade 3 Sky Prides also went in. However, they all failed. In Bupo went in. Someone shouted. Many people were shocked. Finally, a Grade 2 Sky Pride made a move. In Bupo went in for a long time. After half an hour, he still had not come out. Can In Bupo make it? Someone guessed. It was very likely that he had not come out after half an hour. Grade 2 Sky Prides were indeed different. Someone went to the other side of the mountain and waited to see if In Bupo would come out of the Sky Market Cave. Suddenly, a light flashed at the entrance of the Sky Market Cave. In Bupo was also sent out. Sigh. In Bupo sighed. He had also failed. This Sky Market Cave is too difficult. Even a Grade 2 Sky Pride can't make it. It's indeed too difficult. I wonder if the 5 young overlords can make it. Many people sighed. Whoosh! A ray of bloodlight rushed in. It's Sanguinarum. Someone recognized him. Sanguinarum had apparently recovered from his injuries. He also appeared here and wanted to try the Sky Market Cave. Unfortunately, similar to In Bupo, he was also sent out after half an hour. He had also failed. Next, Junyu, Sandalwood Fairy, and the others went in one after another. However, they all failed. Wu Chengkong went in. Someone whispered. A young man in a white robe with a long sword on his back stepped into the Sky Market Cave. Wu Chengkong, the #1 Sky Pride of the Sky Martial Sword Sect. He was an extremely terrifying and powerful figure. He was very famous in the Central Continent. Grade 2 Sky Prides were also divided into strong and weak ones. Wu Chengkong was undoubtedly one of the top Grade 2 Sky Prides. He was known as one of the strongest Sky Prides after the 5 young overlords. Chapter 1062. Almost an hour had passed since Wu Chengkong entered. In the end, Wu Chengkong failed and was sent out. Even Wu Chengkong failed. Will we be able to get through the Tianshu Cave? Yeah, it's too difficult. Maybe he can't even pass the 5 giants. That's not necessarily true. The Tianshu Cave doesn't test pure combat strength. Many people sighed. Even Wu Chengkong could not pass it. It was too difficult. Wu Chengkong flew to the side with his combat sword on his back and sat in the air calmly. I'll give it a try. Jing Kongling stepped into the air and entered the Tianshu Cave, surrounded by clouds. However, no one was optimistic about Jing Kongling. Even Wu Chengkong had failed. No one thought that Jing Kongling could pass. Almost an hour later, a cry of surprise came from the exit of the Tianshu Cave. Success! Jing Kongling succeeded. Exclamations rose and fell. What? Jing Kongling succeeded? Let's go and see. Instantly, many people flew to the other side of the mountain. Even Sandalwood Fairy, Junyu, and Wu Chengkong could not help but fly to the other side of the mountain. When they arrived, they saw Jing Kongling standing in the void. Jing Kongling had passed the Tianshu Cave. Whoosh! Whoosh! At that moment, 2 beams of light flew down from the White Jade Palace in the sky and turned into 2 white-robed elders. They were the 2 elders of the World Academy. Haha, Miss Jing Kongling, congratulations on obtaining a spot to enter the Marrow Cleansing Pool. This token is for you. The Marrow Cleansing Pool will open in half a month. With this token, you can enter the Marrow Cleansing Pool. An old man laughed. A badge appeared in his hand, and he handed it to Jing Kongling. Thank you, Senior. Jing Kongling thanked him and took the token. Many people looked at Jing Kongling enviously. This was a token that could allow one to enter the Marrow Cleansing Pool. In Bupo, Sanguinarum, Junyu, and the others were even more envious. They were all aspiring sovereigns. The Marrow Cleansing Pool could save them a lot of time. Wu Chengkong's eyes were burning with passion. He looked at Jing Kongling possessively. Everyone knew that Wu Chengkong was Jing Kongling's admirer, but Jing Kongling did not seem to be interested in him. Sister Kongling, congratulations. Sandalwood Fairy smiled and walked towards Jing Kongling to congratulate him. Fairy Sandalwood did not feel anything about the marrow-cleansing pool. She cultivated the Tao of inscription, so the strength of her physical body did not matter much. Jing Kongling was also quite happy. At first, she didn't think that she would be able to pass. Then, everyone returned to the entrance of the heavenly market cave. A tall and straight figure stepped in. It's him, Emperor God. Many people's eyes flickered. After defeating Sanguinarum last time, Di Shen's fame had increased greatly and he had attracted a lot of attention. Many people were watching and guessing whether the Imperial God could pass through the Sky Market Cave. It shouldn't be possible. The pure void spirit is a special case. I really don't know what the requirements are for entering the Heavenly Market Cave. It's too difficult to pass through the Heavenly Market Cave. Based on this ratio, less than 10 people in the world can pass through. Indeed, the World Academy already knew that not many people could pass. That's why they opened the marrow cleansing pool. Otherwise, if everyone could pass, the World Academy would suffer a huge loss. Some people were chatting and waiting. Suddenly, he passed. Di Shen passed. Another cry of surprise rang out. What? He passed? How is that possible? A group of people was shocked and hurriedly flew over to take a look. Indeed, they saw Di Shen at the entrance of the Heavenly Market Cave. Di Shen really passed through the Heavenly Market Cave. This Di Shen is amazing. Some people sighed and began to reevaluate Di Shen. Di Shen had first defeated Sanguinarum, and now he had passed through the Heavenly Market Cave. It was really amazing. Naturally, many people thought of Lu Ming. Anyone who knew about the Eastern Wilderness geniuses knew that Lu Ming, not Di Shen, was the strongest in the Eastern Wilderness. Even Wu Chengkong stared at Di Shen with 2 beams of terrifying sword light in his eyes. As expected of Di Shen, the strongest descendant of Di, in the crowd, Lu Ming's lips curled up slightly. Di Shen was indeed very strong and talented. He had comprehended 3 types of intent realm, and he even had a terrifying intent realm like the space intent realm. During the War of Providence, Lu Ming had relied on the combination of the path of inscription to barely suppress Di Shen. In Lu Ming's heart, he had never underestimated Di Shen. Now that more than a year and a half had passed, Di Shen had become even more terrifying. In the White Jade Palace above, the 2 elders flew down again and looked at Di Shen in surprise. Another person had passed. This was indeed beyond the expectations of the World Academy's higher-ups. Young Master Di Shen, take this token. With it, you can enter the marrow cleansing pool to cultivate. One of the elders handed Di Shen a token. Di Shen took it and thanked the elder. Yang Patian is here. Suddenly, a cry of surprise came from the front. What? Yang Patian, one of the 5 giants, is here. The scene was filled with exclamations. Then, one by one, they rushed forward. In the air, a young man walked over. This young man had his hands behind his back. His hair was loose, and he was tall and burly. His eyes were bright and full of wildness. Step by step, he walked very slowly, but there was a supreme majesty exuding from him. Everyone felt a huge pressure weighing down on their hearts. Wu Chengkong, Junyu, and the other Sky Prides looked solemn. Di Shen's eyes revealed a trace of battle intent. Like Di Shen, Yang Patian had also cultivated the space intent realm. Is this Yang Patian, one of the 5 young giants? Lu Ming's eyes were bright as he stared at Yang Patian. Yang Patian gave him a strong sense of pressure. He had a feeling that this person was very strong and dangerous. Yang Patian walked in the air. Without looking at the crowd, he walked into the Sky Market Cave and disappeared. Let's go to the exit. Yang Patian should be able to pass through the Sky Market Cave. Many people flew to the exit of the Sky Market Cave. Even the 2 elders from the World Academy did not leave. Instead, they waited at the exit. Half an hour later, a tall figure stepped out of the Sky Market Cave's exit. Yang Patian. He had indeed passed through the Sky Market Cave. Amazing, amazing. The 5 giants should be able to pass through the Sky Market Cave. That's right. The 5 giants are too terrifying. In the past, They were all sky prides that only appeared once in 1,000 years. However, 5 of them appeared at the same time in this generation. Many people sighed. The 5 giants were the pinnacle of all the sky prides in the central continent. The ultimate goal of all the young people was to be powerful. It was certain that they would become supremes. In the future, there was a high chance that they would break through to the emperor realm. In other words, they were the next generation of emperors. It's time for me to give it a try. Lu Ming smiled. He walked to the entrance and stepped in. Chapter 1063. After Yang Patian received the token from the World Academy's elder, many people returned to the entrance of the Sky Market Cave. After Yang Patian put away the token, he stepped into the air and left as if there was nothing worth his attention. Another person went in. Who is it? I wanted to go in and give it a try. I don't know. I don't know him. He's just a small fry. I think he'll come out in less than 2 minutes. Today is really exciting. 3 people passed the Sky Market Cave in a row. Yeah, but the strongest group of people have already gone in. I don't think anyone else will pass. Many people chatted casually, planning to wait for Lu Ming to fail and be teleported out. But 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes passed and Lu Ming still hadn't come out. Nest, that guy can actually hold on for so long. Strange. Let's wait a little longer. Maybe he'll come out in a while. However, they waited for a long time, but Lu Ming still didn't come out. They couldn't help but look at each other. As soon as Lu Ming stepped into the Sky Market Cave, his surroundings changed and he arrived on a platform. Formation. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. There was an extremely powerful formation in the Sky Market Cave. No, my cultivation. At this moment, Lu Ming was shocked to discover that his cultivation level had been decreasing at a rapid pace. From the Spirit God realm to the Spirit Embryo realm, then to the Spirit Sea realm, King realm, Martial Ancestor. In the end, Lu Ming's cultivation fell all the way to the 9th level of the Martial Warrior realm before stopping. His Intent realm, 2nd bloodline, and 3rd bloodline were all sealed. Only the 9 Dragons bloodline wasn't sealed. The combat strength he could exert was actually similar to when he was at the 9th level of the Martial Warrior realm. Beside Lu Ming, there was a long spear. In front of the platform, a figure condensed. It was a middle-aged man with a long sword on his back. The aura he emitted was at the 1st level of the Martial Master realm. That long spear is your weapon. If you can defeat me, you can go to the next level, the middle-aged man said coldly. Then, he unsheathed his sword and a sharp sword light cut through the air, making an ear-piercing sound as it slashed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming pulled out the long spear beside him, shook it, and displayed the astral fire spear art. Whoosh! The long spear turned into a beam of rainbow light and pierced through the middle-aged man's forehead, killing him instantly. The middle-aged man's figure collapsed and disappeared without a trace. Is this a test of my battle prowess in the Martial Warrior 9th layer? Lu Ming guessed. In the next moment, 3 figures appeared in front of the platform. The 3 middle-aged men looked exactly the same, and their cultivations were all at Martial Master realm. The 3 of them unsheathed their swords at the same time and charged at Lu Ming. With a flick of his spear, he engaged in a fierce battle with the 3 middle-aged men. In a short while, the 3 of them were killed. When Lu Ming had been a 9th level martial warrior, it had not been difficult for him to kill a 1st level martial master. After killing the 3 people, the surrounding environment changed again and Lu Ming appeared on another platform. My cultivation has reached the 9th level martial master realm. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat as he discovered that his cultivation had reached the 9th level martial master realm. In front of him, another middle-aged man appeared. He looked the same as the previous one, but his cultivation was completely different. This middle-aged man emitted an aura of a 1st level martial master realm. Sure enough, was this a test of Lu Ming's battle prowess at each stage? There was nothing to say. The 2 of them fought, and Lu Ming killed the middle-aged man in just one move. In the next moment, 3 other middle-aged men at the 1st level martial master realm appeared and were also killed by Lu Ming. After that, Lu Ming's cultivation rose to the 9th level martial master realm, and the opponent that appeared was at the 1st level martial ancestor realm. The outcome was the same. Lu Ming overcame all the difficulties and passed this round. In the next stage, Lu Ming's cultivation was at the half-step king realm, and his opponent was at the first-level martial king realm. At this time, Lu Ming discovered that he could use the power of the second bloodline. However, he could only unleash the power of the half-step king realm. In this battle, Lu Ming spent a bit of time, because the further he went, the harder it was to fight across realms. However, Lu Ming still passed. Then, Lu Ming's cultivation rose to the peak king realm, and his opponent became at the first-level spiritual sea realm. This battle took up a lot of time, but he still managed to pass it. Then, it was the perfect spiritual sea realm and the first-level spirit embryo realm. He also passed. However, when Lu Ming's cultivation rose to the perfect spirit embryo realm and the first-level battle spirit god realm, he encountered a real challenge. In the beginning, when he faced a first-level spirit god realm, Lu Ming could still relax and kill him in the end. However, when he fought against 3 first-level spirit god realm experts, he encountered a huge challenge. Lu Ming used all his strength to fight against the 3 first-level spirit god realm experts. This battle lasted for half an hour. Lu Ming killed the 3 first-level spirit god realm experts with great difficulty, and he himself was severely injured. This is too difficult. If it's all this difficulty, how did Jing Kongling pass? How did the Emperor God pass? Lu Ming thought speechlessly. It was hard to say, but Lu Ming was sure that Jing Kongling and the Emperor God couldn't kill 3 first-level spirit god realm experts when their spirit embryos were at the perfect stage. Everyone faces different situations in the Sky Market Cave. Could it be that my luck is bad and I encountered a difficult one? Lu Ming was speechless. At this time, the surrounding environment changed. Lu Ming discovered that there was a cave entrance in front of him. Bright light shone from the cave entrance. Lu Ming passed through the entrance of the Sky Market Cave. At this time, Lu Ming discovered that his cultivation had recovered to the first-level spirit god realm, and the injuries he suffered earlier had also healed. Without hesitation, he took a step out. As soon as he stepped out, he saw that some people outside the cave were staring at him in disbelief. At the entrance of the Heavenly Ruins cave, there were undoubtedly more people guarding it. However, at this moment, some of them were already impatient. Who is it? Why hasn't he come out after so long? I've been waiting for an hour. Yeah, who went in just now? Could it be another second-class prodigy? I didn't see him just now. No, I've never seen that person before. I don't know him. You don't know him? He must be a small fry. How could he have been in there for so long? Could he have passed? Impossible. He can't have passed. At this time, an incredulous shout came from the entrance of the Sky Market Cave. He passed. Another person passed. Who is he? Why haven't I seen him before? The voices were clearly heard, and the people at the entrance of the Sky Market Cave were stunned. They looked at each other in dismay. He passed? Who is it? Let's go take a look. At this time, almost everyone flew toward the entrance of the Sky Market Cave. When they saw Lu Ming, they were all shocked. This was because no one knew him. They had never seen him before. Lu Ming smiled bitterly as he looked around. His tanned face revealed a simple and honest smile. Is he from the Eastern Wilderness? Someone asked the Emperor God. No, I've never seen him before. The Emperor God shook his head. He's not from the Northern Plains either. The ones who spoke were a few burly young men. They were carrying maces and axes, and their auras were wild. Chapter 1064. He's not from the Eastern Wilderness or the Northern Plains. He's definitely not from the Western Desert. Could he be a genius from Nanming? Impossible. No one from Nanming comes here. Everyone continued to talk about it, trying to guess Lu Ming's identity. However, in the end, no one knew who Lu Ming was. The Sky Market Cave is mysterious. Not only the strongest geniuses can pass it. Some ordinary geniuses can pass it if they're lucky, someone said. Everyone looked at him strangely. Some of them looked at Lu Ming passionately. Swoosh, swoosh. 2 white-haired elders descended from the sky. They were the 2 elders from the World Academy. The 2 elders were surprised to see Lu Ming. They thought that no one would be able to pass the Sky Market Cave after Yang Patian. They did not expect someone to succeed. Young friend, take this token. The marrow cleansing pool will open in half a month. You can enter it with this token. One of the elders took out a token and handed it to Lu Ming. Thank you, elders. Lu Ming took the token and thanked them with cupped fists. The two old men smiled faintly and turned to leave. Many people looked at the token in Lu Ming's hand with passion. Among them, Wu Chengkong, Sanguinarum, and other second-grade geniuses were the most excited. Please make way. Lu Ming put away the token and revealed a simple and honest smile. He squeezed through the crowd and headed toward the all-encompassing jade wall. He was no longer interested in who would pass the Sky Market Cave. In the crowd, Sanguinarum looked at Lu Ming's back. Dandan, how's the research going? When he arrived at the jade annulus, he saw Dandan pacing back and forth, studying it carefully. I've already made some progress. Kid, don't disturb me. After a while, I'll definitely give you a big surprise. Dandan ignored Lu Ming and continued his research. This guy. Lu Ming smiled and ignored Dandan. He searched for a suitable jade disc and continued to comprehend. The all-appearances jade annulus was all-encompassing. Anything could be found in it. Soon, Lu Ming found an incomparably mysterious jade wall. Before this jade wall, Lu Ming could comprehend the profound principles of the concept of fire. Lu Ming carefully comprehended. With Lu Ming's current perception, he had gained a lot. In just a few days, Lu Ming's concept of fire had gained a lot. He felt that he could break through at any time and reach the fourth level of the concept of fire. Lu Ming was overjoyed and continued to comprehend. After another 3 days, Lu Ming's concept of fire really made a breakthrough, reaching level 4 lower tier. This trip to the World Academy was worth it. He had gained a lot. Young hero, my young master invites you in. At this time, a young woman walked to Lu Ming's side, smiling sweetly. Who is your young master? Lu Ming frowned slightly. You'll know when you get there. It's on that mountain not far away. The woman pointed to a mountain in the east. Okay, I'll go with you. Lu Ming pondered for a moment, then followed the young woman and flew toward the mountain. The mountain was only about 100 miles away from the all-appearances jade annulus. They arrived in a flash. There were 2 figures on the mountain. One of them was Sanguinarum, while the other was older and wore a blood-red robe. He must be an expert from Cold Blood Hall. Sanguinarum smiled when he saw Lu Ming. Haha, how should I address you, brother? I'm from the mountains. You won't know me even if I tell you. May I know what business you have with me? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Oh, it's very simple. I want to buy your token to enter the marrow cleansing pool. How many origin stones do you need? You can name a price. Sanguinarum said. So it's because of this. Lu Ming sneered. When he saw Sanguinarum, he guessed that Sanguinarum was looking for him because of his token. I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. I have no intention of selling the token. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Sanguinarum's face darkened when he saw Lu Ming's refusal. You'd better think about it. The marrow cleansing pool is of no use to you. It'll only be a waste. Only in my hands can it be maximized. There was a hint of threat in his tone. He looked at Lu Ming with disdain. What he meant was that the marrow cleansing pool would be a waste in Lu Ming's hands. It's my business whether it's a waste or not. You don't have to worry about it. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Lu Ming said coldly and turned to leave. Boom. All of a sudden, a terrifying and powerful aura rose and a strong pressure pressed down on Lu Ming's body. It was Master Shueluazi. At this moment, Master Shueluazi's eyes were cold as he said, Brat, even if you don't want to, you have to. That token is a complete waste on you. Only with me will it be able to bring out its full potential. It can only be used to its greatest potential when it's on you. Lu Ming looked at Sanguinarum with disdain and said, First, you were defeated by Lu Shaoqing. Then, you were defeated by the Emperor God. A loser like you is acting all high and mighty. Aren't you ashamed? In my opinion, it's a waste to give the token to you. How dare you? Sanguinarum roared and said coldly, Kid, I wanted to buy it from you with origin stones. It seems like there's no need for that now. Hand it over. Otherwise, you know the consequences. The old man next to Sanguinarum also stared coldly at Lu Ming. That elder was definitely a powerful cultivator, a terrifying powerful cultivator. He gave Lu Ming a very dangerous feeling. However, Lu Ming was not afraid. This was the World Academy. Idiot. Lu Ming looked at Sanguinarum with disdain and said, "Do you think this is Cold Blood Hall? This is the World Academy. There are emperors here. I'm afraid even the emperors have seen what you've done. Do you still want to rob me?" Sanguinarum gritted his teeth. Indeed, this was the World Academy. Lu Ming had obtained the token to enter the marrow cleansing pool through the cave of Heaven Market. If Lu Ming had given the token to him, the World Academy might not have cared. However, if they wanted to rob him, the World Academy would not sit by and do nothing. He thought that given his status, Lu Ming, this lad who appeared out of nowhere, would definitely be scared to death. He would give him face and obediently give him the token. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming did not give him any face at all. "Kid, you can't hide in the World Academy forever. You'd better leave yourself a way out," the old man said coldly. This was a blatant threat. He meant that if Lu Ming left the World Academy, no one would be able to protect him. Haha. Lu Ming sneered. He could not be bothered to say more. He simply ignored Shueluazi and the elder and turned to leave. The old man and Sanguinarum were so angry that their faces turned green. They were ignored by Lu Ming. Lu Ming walked toward the Plenitude Jade Wall. However, he was stopped by someone on the way. It was Wu Changkong from the Sky Martial Sword Sect. Chapter 1065. What's the matter? Lu Ming asked coldly. Hand over your medallion and give me the spot to enter the marrow cleansing pool. Wu Changkong was very direct and went straight to the point. Lu Ming smiled coldly. Indeed, it was because of the spot to enter the marrow cleansing pool. These people really thought that he was a pushover. Jing Kongling had the Floating Mountain sect and Yang Patian behind him, so they did not dare to offend him. The Dishun had shown great strength, and the Ditian Divine Palace was behind him. However, they did not go looking for him. Without a doubt, Lu Ming, who had appeared out of nowhere, had become a hot steamed bun. Idiot, Lu Ming said, and did not bother with Wu Changkong. He took a step forward and moved like a beam of light, instantly arriving at the myriad jade annulus. He continued to search for the corresponding jade annulus. Wu Changkong's eyes were as sharp as swords as he looked in the direction Lu Ming left. Lu Ming was very unhappy. If these people continued to pester him, Lu Ming did not mind using thunderous means to teach them a lesson. Lu Ming continued searching for the jade annulus. Soon, he found a jade annulus with a profound state of thunder and carefully comprehended it. Time flowed like water. Half a month had passed since Lu Ming passed through the heavenly ruin cave. At this moment, someone came to inform Lu Ming that the marrow cleansing pool had opened and he could enter. Lu Ming followed this person and flew over many mountains before arriving at a small hill. When he arrived, he found that Jing Kongling, the Dixin, and Yang Patian were already there. When Jing Kongling saw Lu Ming, he smiled. The Dixin sized up Lu Ming curiously. As for Yang Patian, he had his hands behind his back and did not even look at Lu Ming. All right, open the marrow cleansing pool. There were a few white-haired old men here. The mental energy flame on their foreheads jumped, and inscriptions appeared and entered the hill. Ka, ka. The hill cracked open, revealing an ancient bluestone path leading to the front. Go. The marrow cleansing pool is just ahead. You only have 3 days. Once the 3 days are up, come out. An elder reminded. Everyone nodded. Yang Patian took the lead and walked towards the ancient bluestone road. Then, Dishun, Jing Kongling, and Lu Ming stepped onto the ancient path one after another. Stepping on the ancient bluestone road, a land filled with dense spiritual energy appeared in front of them. On the ground, there were 9 ponds that emitted a faint mist, just like 9 celestial ponds. This was the marrow cleansing pool. Lu Ming was shocked. He hadn't expected there to be 9 marrow cleansing pools. However, the area was not large. Each of them was only a few meters in radius. The 4 of them each chose one and walked over, stepping into the marrow cleansing pool. As soon as Lu Ming stepped into the marrow cleansing pool, he immediately felt a mysterious power around him. It kept drilling into his body. It was the pool water. It was the power of the pool water. The water of the marrow-cleansing pond had a mysterious and unfathomable power. Of course, it wasn't just the water. The entire marrow-cleansing pond had a kind of field energy that helped the water permeate Lu Ming's body. At this moment, Lu Ming felt that his physical body was rapidly improving. Originally, Lu Ming's physical body had reached grade 9. Now, it was constantly climbing towards the peak of grade 9. So comfortable, Lu Ming exclaimed. Marrow cleansing was supposed to be a very painful thing. However, there was no pain at all here. Instead, he felt comfortable all over. Lu Ming could clearly feel that the impurities and dirt in his body were being cleaned out by a mysterious power. It made his body purer and cleaner. Time flew by quickly. Just like that, 3 days passed. Splash! Lu Ming rushed to the marrow-cleansing pool, his eyes shining. So cool. Lu Ming felt refreshed and his body was ethereal. Now, his physical body was perfect. It was as if his body was made of divine stainless gold. It was strong and pure. Complete grade 9. Complete grade 9. Is this the limit of the physical body? Lu Ming felt carefully and his face was filled with joy. He had a feeling that his physical body was now complete and had reached a limit. It was impossible to improve it anymore. If it continued to improve, it would no longer be a mortal body. It would be another level. Jing Kongling, Di Shun, Yang Patian, and the others also came out of the marrow cleansing pool with smiles on their faces. Obviously, they had also gained a lot. Yang Patian took the lead and walked out. Then, the others came out of the marrow cleansing pool one after another. Outside, the elders were still waiting. When they came out, the elders inscribed inscriptions, and the hill returned to its original state. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, in the distance, 9 light pillars shot up into the sky. It was extremely shocking. Everyone looked in that direction in shock because it was the direction of the universal jade annulus. What was going on? Is this the Saint Mansion? The Saint Mansion is open. The elders of the World Academy were excited and their voices trembled. Saint Mansion? Lu Ming and the others were shocked. Legend had it that the universal jade annulus had a great secret. It was connected to a divine treasure in a secret land. It was very mysterious. 30,000 years ago, that divine treasure could be opened occasionally. Experts would enter to cultivate and comprehend the path. It contained great opportunities. But 30,000 years ago, there was a terrible war in the central continent. The ancient Saint dynasty rebelled. That war directly weakened the ancient Saint dynasty Xie family, and the central continent was divided by the emperors. The World Academy was also seriously affected by that war. In the end, even the method to open the divine treasure was lost. Since then, that divine treasure in the Saint Mansion had never been opened. Could it be opened again? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Without hesitation, Lu Ming and the others flew in the direction of the universal jade annulus. At this moment, Lu Ming saw streaks of light flying out of the huge white jade palace in the sky. Streaks of light flew out of all the peaks of the World Academy and toward the universal jade annulus. Soon, Lu Ming and the others arrived. At this moment, all the universal jade annulus were glowing. Inscriptions appeared and gathered into 9 huge light pillars that shot into the sky. Outside the 9 light pillars, there were countless figures standing in a dense crowd. Obviously, the elites who were comprehending in the universal jade annulus had been expelled for some reason. Whoosh! As soon as Lu Ming arrived, a little turtle jumped onto Lu Ming's shoulder. Dandan, what's going on? Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Dandan. Haha, Lu Ming, how is it? I've cracked the secret of this place. I've activated the formation here. Dandan transmitted his voice to Lu Ming proudly. You did it? Lu Ming was speechless. In fact, he had guessed that it might be because of Dandan, but he didn't expect it to be Dandan. This place is connected to a mystic realm. It's amazing. Dandan exclaimed. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, more and more people appeared in the sky. Some of the elders emitted terrifying auras. Supremes, so many Supremes. Lu Ming was all too familiar with this aura. It was the aura of a Supremes. Chapter 1066. The World Academy indeed had people who practiced the path of inscription and martial arts. They were extremely powerful and unfathomable. There were also many people whose auras were weaker than supreme beings, but they were still extremely powerful. They were definitely high-level spirit gods. The Sacred Mansion. The Sacred Mansion is open. The Sacred Mansion that hasn't been opened for 30,000 years has really opened. The dean made the right decision. Voices echoed in the sky. Whoosh! Suddenly, an old man stepped out and rushed toward one of the light pillars. However, as soon as he rushed in, he immediately revealed a look of horror and let out a scream. In the next moment, his body directly exploded, and his body and soul were destroyed. Many people gasped and felt a chill run down their spine. That old man was definitely a high-level spirit god, but he died just like that. What's going on? How could this be? Legend has it that anyone can enter the Sacred Mansion. Why did Elder Wu die? In the World Academy, there were voices of disbelief. 30,000 years ago, regardless of gender or age, no matter how strong one's cultivation was, they could enter the Sacred Mansion to find opportunities and cultivate. But why did that old man die just now? Did the rules of the Sacred Mansion change? Someone made a guess. Many people felt that it was very likely. After all, the Sacred Mansion had not been opened for 30,000 years. It was also very likely that the rules had changed. In this way, no one dared to act rashly. No one knew if they would die if they rushed in. After that, the World Academy sent out experts to study and find out what was going on. The news of the World Academy's Sacred Mansion reopening also spread like a storm. Dandan, do you know what's going on? Lu Ming appeared on a mountain peak 100 miles away with Dandan and asked, according to my speculation, the 9 light pillars are the space path, the passage to the arcane realm. However, this passage contains a time array, and there is a requirement for the age of the person who enters. However, I don't know the specific age limit, so I don't know. Dandan explained, there's a requirement for age? That's strange. Lu Ming was a little surprised because according to the rumors, there was no age limit in this arcane realm 30,000 years ago. However, it was useless to think too much about it. Next, Lu Ming cultivated while waiting for news. If he was able to enter at that time, Lu Ming didn't want to miss it. It was said that within that secret ground, there would be great opportunities. In the past, there would often be utmost powerful beings sitting in seclusion within. If those utmost powerful beings could leave behind something, that would be a great opportunity as well. That was because, according to the legends, the most powerful experts were all emperors. As the days passed, more and more people came to the World Academy. Many major forces received the news, and a large number of people rushed over. Some of the factions even sent 9 Heaven Supremes. For example, the forces closest to the World Academy, such as Floating Mountain, Cold Blood Hall, Sky Eagle Castle, Sky Martial Sword Sect, Demon Mountain, and G Family. There were also people from many smaller forces who had come. In fact, even more geniuses had arrived. For a moment, the World Academy was filled with powerful cultivators. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. At this time, the World Academy released news that they had investigated the rules of the entrance to the Saint Mansion Arcane Realm. Only living beings under the age of 50 could enter, and those over 50 who entered would die. Moreover, the World Academy and the 9 Heaven Supremes of the various factions had discussed that all of them could enter. However, because there were too many people coming to the World Academy, including those under the age of 50, it was obviously not feasible for so many people to enter. Therefore, the World Academy planned to screen those who had reached a certain level of fighting strength to enter. This was because it was said that the Saint Mansion Arcane Realm was also very dangerous. Those who didn't have enough fighting strength would also die. A day later, a huge formation rose up in a huge square of the World Academy. This formation was the screening place. Anyone under the age of 50 could participate in the selection of the Commander-in-Chief. Only those who passed could enter the Saint Mansion Arcane Realm. There was a sea of people gathered around the square. Countless people from various factions had gathered here. Lu Ming was also in the crowd. Some people were standing in the sky. Most of them were old, and some looked young. Everyone knew that these people were the 9 Heaven Supremes of the various factions. Puppets will form within the spell formation. Enter and kill the puppets. Every time you kill a puppet, you will be covered with quintessence chi. At first, it will be red, but as more quintessence chi gathers, the color of your quintessence chi will change. Then it will be orange, yellow, green, and finally violet. Only when the essence chi gathers on your body reaches yellow will you pass. You can enter the Saint Mansion Arcane Realm. If you don't, you will be eliminated. Start now. In the sky, an old man from the World Academy announced the rules of the screening. The rules were very simple. Enter the formation, kill the puppets, and accumulate essence chi. If one's essence chi reached a certain level, they would pass. As soon as the old man finished speaking, many people rushed into the formation. There were many young people, but most of them were men in their 30s or 40s. This time, anyone below the age of 50 could enter. Those who were 50 years old were a generation older than Lu Ming's generation. Naturally, there would be more people. This formation could accommodate tens of thousands of people at the same time. However, after a few minutes, people were transported out continuously. Their bodies were covered in a layer of red light. It was obvious that they had been eliminated. These people aren't even in the spirit embryo realm. Naturally, they can't enter. Lu Ming shook his head. He could tell the cultivation level of these people. More than 10 minutes later, more people were eliminated. Many of these people were covered in orange light, but they were still eliminated. Their cultivation was mostly below the 6th level of the spirit embryo realm. After that, the people who were transported out all had yellow light on their bodies. These people were delighted because they had succeeded. As long as the light on their bodies reached yellow, it was considered a success. Looks like cultivation above the 6th level of the spirit embryo realm is more or less enough. Lu Ming thought to himself. He realized that the people who had succeeded were mostly above the 6th level of the spirit embryo realm. However, there were also young geniuses whose cultivation was below the 6th level of the spirit embryo realm. It was obvious that their battle prowess was above the 6th level of the spirit embryo realm. After more than an hour, the first batch of people who entered all came out. The strongest few people were covered in purple light, which was incomparably astonishing. Lu Ming saw Junyu and Sanguinarum who were covered in purple light. However, there were more people in their 30s or 40s who were covered in purple light. These people had cultivated for a longer period of time, so their battle prowess was extremely strong. The second batch had tens of thousands of people entering. From this, it could be seen how many people were gathered at the World Academy. And this was only those below the age of 50. If there wasn't an age limit, the number of people would be even more terrifying. Lu Ming was also in the second batch. The moment he stepped into the formation, puppets that looked like demonic beasts condensed and pounced towards Lu Ming. Those below the spirit embryo realm, Lu Ming punched out, and these puppets turned into ashes. At the same time, red essence flew over and covered Lu Ming's body. Following that, more puppets condensed. However, these puppets were too weak and were easily killed by Lu Ming. The light covering Lu Ming's body also slowly condensed and brightened. Chapter 1067. A few minutes later, the light covering Lu Ming's body turned orange. I'll just pass the test later. With this thought in mind, Lu Ming slowed down. Lu Ming planned to just pass the test. The only way to enter the Sacred Mansion's secret realm was to make a fortune quietly. If he was too eye-catching, he would be targeted by many people. Lu Ming deliberately used his movement skill to avoid many puppets. After more than 10 minutes, the light on Lu Ming's body turned yellow. At this time, he deliberately let a beast claw him. Then, a ray of light shone on Lu Ming and he was sent out. When Lu Ming went out, many people looked at him. Because Lu Ming had passed the heavenly market cave, he naturally attracted a lot of attention. However, when they saw the light on Lu Ming's body, it immediately caused an uproar. Oh, it's that kid who passed the heavenly market cave. Why did he only last for a short while? And it's only yellow? I knew it. This guy was just lucky. He probably encountered something easier when he passed the heavenly market cave. Legend has it that in ancient times, someone passed the heavenly market cave without encountering anything. This guy is just lucky. What a piece of trash. That's right. So this guy is trash. I thought he was a rare genius. Bah. All around, pairs of disdainful eyes looked at Lu Ming and mocked him. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He knew very well in his heart. Why should he care about what others thought? Lu Ming walked to the side and closed his eyes to rest. So he's a piece of trash. Sanguinarum sneered. Wu Chengkong's eyes were cold. The screening continued. There were more than 100,000 people participating in the screening. In the end, 20,000 people passed the screening and could enter the Sacred Mansion's secret realm. Junyu, come up. Sanguinarum, come up. Pongling, come up. At this time, the supremes of the major forces in the sky were calling for the geniuses of their forces. Then, Junyu, Sanguinarum, Jingkongling, Wu Chengkong, and the other geniuses flew into the sky. What's going on? Someone was surprised. I know. Legend has it that 30,000 years ago, the experts of the World Academy were able to obtain a rare treasure from the Saint Mansion's secret realm called the Saint Mansion Life Talisman. If you carry a Saint Mansion Life Talisman with you, if you are killed in the Saint Mansion secret realm, the Life Talisman will save your life and allow you to revive outside the Saint Mansion secret realm. What? There's actually such a precious treasure? That's right. But there aren't many Life Talismans left. The major factions must have spent a lot of money to buy them from the World Academy to protect their strongest geniuses. This is simply cheating. Many people sighed, feeling both envy and helplessness. With such a Life Talisman, he would be able to do whatever he wanted in the Saint Mansion's secret realm. He wouldn't have to worry about losing his life. In that case, he would be able to venture into dangerous places without any worries. Lu Ming naturally heard the discussions of the crowd. He could only sigh. It was really good to have a powerful force as a backer. Very soon, the various geniuses were assigned. Everyone, let me explain. The Saint Mansion's secret realm is divided into 9 regions. That's why there are 9 light pillars. Each light pillar will appear in a different region. Now, the 9 major factions will each take 1 light pillar. Those from the other factions will follow the 9 major factions into the secret realm. Let's go now. I'll say it again. Those who didn't pass the screening will be forbidden from entering. Otherwise, you'll be killed without mercy. A white-haired elder from the World Academy announced the rules. His eyes were like lightning as he scanned the surroundings. He was incomparably majestic. Everyone was stunned. This was a supreme. No one dared to go against him. Immediately, everyone flew towards the universal jade annulus. You follow us in. Some of the strong men from the Sky Martial Sword faction waved their hands and pointed at a group of people. Those people were from the smaller factions and had to follow the 9 major factions into the secret realm. This time, there were a total of 8 overlord factions. There was also the Medicine King Valley. Although the Medicine King Valley wasn't an overlord faction, they were on good terms with the major factions. They were very powerful and could be considered a major faction. Coincidentally, they occupied 9 light pillars. Those from the smaller factions that were pointed out by the Sky Martial Sword faction obediently followed the people from the Sky Martial Sword faction into a light pillar. Sure enough, those below 50 years old could enter without any problem. With a flash of light, the figures disappeared. You follow us. An expert from Demon Mountain pointed at a group of people who entered a light pillar. Each faction pointed at a group of people who entered a light pillar and disappeared. You follow us. A burly man from the Cold Blood Hall waved his hand and pointed at a group of people. Lu Ming was among them. Oh no, we're going to follow the Cold Blood Hall. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Someone whispered. He was very wary of the Cold Blood Hall. The Cold Blood Hall had always been known for their ruthlessness. What? You don't want to follow us? Then don't go in. A bunch of trash. What's the point of going in? The strong man from the Cold Blood Hall shouted coldly. Everyone's faces darkened. Lu Ming smiled faintly and stepped forward. He saw a cold gaze staring at him. It was Sanguinarum. Lu Ming sneered. There were no senior experts in the Saint Mansion secret realm. If these people continued to push their luck, Lu Ming did not mind killing them. In the end, those who were pointed out followed the Cold Blood Hall and entered the light pillar. This was a great opportunity. Who would want to miss it? There was a flash of light. The next moment, Lu Ming discovered that he had appeared on a flat ground. This area was very flat, but there was a huge mountain in the distance. A ray of light was emitted from the top of the mountain, forming a light shield that shrouded a huge territory in light. Lu Ming and the others were now in the light shield. Hey, my genuine vitality is greatly suppressed. It's difficult to fly. Me too. It's the light shield. It has a strong suppressive effect. At this time, voices came from all around. Lu Ming looked around and found many people from the Cold Blood Hall, as well as many who had entered the light pillar with him. Those who entered the light pillar would appear together. Lu Ming tried and found that his genuine vitality was greatly suppressed. Even if he could fly, his speed was extremely slow. There's treasure on the mountain top. Let's go check it out. Many people had their eyes on the mountain and rushed forward. Suddenly, there was a scream in front of them. Light flashed and flames rose into the sky. Someone was burned to ashes in the flames. Formation. There's a big formation here. Someone shouted. Lu Ming also rushed forward and looked carefully. Sure enough, the path leading to the mountain was full of dangerous formations. But this further proved that there was treasure ahead. Otherwise, why would there be so many formations? Look, there's a spiritual herb ahead. Someone whispered. In front of them, there was a small purple tree on a small hill. The tree was crystal clear and seemed to be made of purple jade. It was extraordinary. There's more than one. Someone found another spiritual herb. Chapter 1068. Finally, someone could not help but carefully identify the gaps in the formation and carefully move forward. However, the formation glowed and several more people were killed in the formation. Everyone was finally scared. Although the spiritual herbs were good, they had to be alive to enjoy them. Otherwise, everything would be for naught. Many people began to retreat. They planned to leave this place and head to other places to seek opportunities. Swish, swish. Suddenly, a group of people in blood-red robes surrounded them. They were all experts from Cold Blood Hall. What are you doing? Why are you blocking our way? Someone asked. What are we doing? We asked you to come with us, so you have to do something. Otherwise, what's the use of trash like you? Go lead the way. A burly man in his prime said in a cold voice. He was in his 40s, half a generation older than Lu Ming and the others. His chi and blood surged, and his aura was extremely powerful. His cultivation was unfathomable. This time, he was the leader of the Cold Blood Hall. What? You're asking us to pave the way for Cold Blood Hall? No, I'll never agree to that. A man in his prime refused. There were formations ahead. Wasn't it courting death to scout for Cold Blood Hall? You don't agree? Then die. Swish. The burly man from Cold Blood Hall took a step forward and suddenly appeared in front of the man. The man wanted to resist, but he was enveloped by a terrifying force and could not move. Puff. The burly man's hand was like a knife and stabbed into the man's chest. The man let out a shrill scream, and then, under everyone's horrified eyes, the man's body shriveled and turned into a dried corpse. Cold Blood Hall's blood-sucking skill. Someone's voice trembled, and his face was full of fear. Now, are you coming in or not? The burly man looked coldly at the crowd. Everyone's face was pale. I knew it. Following Cold Blood Hall here would not end well. I shouldn't have come in. Someone sighed. But at this point, it was useless to say more. The group could only move forward. Brat, hurry up and go. Huang Kuei was also among the Cold Blood Hall people, and he stared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming glanced at Huang Kuei indifferently, but he didn't make a move. Instead, he walked forward with the others. Sanguinarium stared at Lu Ming and sneered, his eyes cold. Hurry up. If you don't leave, I'll kill you. The burly man shouted coldly. His name was Xuefeng, and he was the top expert of the previous generation in Cold Blood Hall. Many people gritted their teeth and stepped forward. Light flickered, and a great formation appeared. In an instant, more than 10 people were killed. It's too dangerous. Going up like this is simply courting death. I beg you, let me go. Someone trembled in fear and begged for mercy loudly. What's your name? Some people aren't fine. If you shout again, I'll kill you right now, Shuefeng said ferociously. Sure enough, some people were fine. After walking for 100 meters, they did not come across the formation. This region was not completely filled with great formations. There were some gaps left, and one could move through them. However, one needed to have good eyesight, and not everyone could see them. Lu Ming's figure flickered as he continued to move forward for more than 100 meters without any problems. This kid is quite lucky. Sanguinarium stared coldly at Lu Ming. Last time, Lu Ming had refused to give him the opportunity to enter the marrow-cleansing pool, so he hated Lu Ming and had been looking for a chance to kill him. Lu Ming looked around and carefully identified the gaps. With his eyesight, he could naturally see where there were no formations. His figure flashed left and right, and he came to a small hill where a small purple tree grew. It was only 1 meter tall and looked like a purple jade. It was full of essence and was very extraordinary. Purple gold tree. Lu Ming recognized the small tree. It was an upper LV8 spiritual herb. If cultivated well, it could even bear purple gold fruit and evolve into a LV9 spiritual herb. Lu Ming dug out the purple gold tree and put it away. He would plant it in the mountain river diagram when he had time. Hey, kid, what are you doing? Who told you to put away the spiritual herb? Throw it out and give it to us. Huang Kuei had been staring at Lu Ming. When he saw Lu Ming put away the spiritual herb, he immediately shouted, "Idiot!" Lu Ming glanced at Huang Kuei and said indifferently, "What did you say? Kid, you're courting death. You're dead. You know you're dead." Huang Kuei shouted angrily. Shuefeng and the others also looked at Lu Ming. "Oh, come and kill me then." Lu Ming curled his lips. Don't come out if you dare." Huang Kuei looked at Lu Ming ferociously. His face was red, but he did not dare to step forward. Coward! Lu Ming pursed his lips. With a flash of his figure, he headed towards another spirit herb. Very soon, Lu Ming also put away the other spirit herb. No, he knows the art of inscription and can see the gaps in the formations. Shui Luozi roared, realizing what was going on. Lu Ming's movements were as smooth as flowing water. He was so fast that it did not seem like he was trying his luck, but he could see the gaps. Ha ha ha, these idiots. On his shoulder, Dandan laughed and his eyes lit up. There were so many spiritual herbs here that he was almost drooling. During this period, Dandan had eaten a lot of spiritual herbs. He felt that he was constantly recovering and remembered many things. When he saw the spiritual herbs, his eyes lit up. Damn it! Sanguinarium, Huang Kuei, Shuefeng, and the others gnashed their teeth. They could not wait to kill Lu Ming. Those who were lucky enough not to be killed by the formation stood still. Anyway, they did not have to be afraid of the cold blood hall people in the formation. Lu Ming's body flashed, and at least 7 or 8 spiritual herbs went into Lu Ming's pocket. These good-for-nothings, damn it. Use the inscription crystal. Shuefeng's killing intent flashed, and a white crystal appeared in his hand. Senior brother Shuefeng, are you going to use the inscription crystal now? Sanguinarium and the others were a little distressed. The major forces had spent a lot of money and prepared many secret treasures for their disciples to enter the Saint Mansion's secret realm and obtain opportunities. The inscription crystal was a very rare treasure. Once used, it could freeze the formation and prevent it from exploding. It was most practical for exploring some secret realms. Yes, that mountain is no small matter. There should be some great treasures. Shuefeng clenched his teeth and pinched the inscription crystal. Suddenly, the inscription crystal shattered and turned into a layer of white light, rushing forward. Wherever the white light passed, it seemed to be covered with a layer of frost. All the formations were frozen. It's the inscription crystal. The formation is sealed. Let's go. Whoosh, whoosh. Those who were forced by the cold blood hall people rose into the air and rushed into the depths of the mountain. You're courting death. The cold blood hall people shouted coldly and chased after those from the smaller forces. A terrible battle broke out in this area. Go to hell, boy. Huang Kuei was the first to rush toward Lu Ming. His blood-red claws clawed at Lu Ming. The claws were as sharp as knives and aimed at Lu Ming's heart. He wanted to suck Lu Ming's blood dry. Boom. Chapter 1069. Lu Ming's slap shook the space violently as if it could suppress the heavens. Before the slap arrived, Huang Kuei felt as if hundreds of mountains were pressing down on him. He could not even breathe. No, no. At this moment, he was flustered, shocked, and scared. Lu Ming's palm was so big that it covered the sky. He wanted to scream, but he could not. Bang! Lu Ming's slap landed on him. Huang Kuei's body exploded into pieces. This time, everyone was shocked. Huang Kuei was the second genius of Cold Blood Hall, but he was killed by Lu Ming with a single slap. Boy, you have some strength. But how dare you kill a genius of Cold Blood Hall? You're courting death. Sanguinarum roared. He stepped on the air and blood rushed to the sky. He grasped the air and a saber appeared, slashing at Lu Ming. Although Lu Ming had killed Huang Kuei with a single slap, Sanguinarum was still confident that he could kill Lu Ming. Huang Kuei was only a perfected spirit embryo, while he was already a spirit god. He could kill Huang Kuei with a snap of his fingers. He did not believe that Lu Ming, who had appeared out of nowhere, could be his match. Boom! Lu Ming struck again with a slap. Boom! Sanguinarum's saber light was shattered by Lu Ming's slap. Bang! Lu Ming took a step forward and rushed towards Sanguinarum like a stream of light. Roar! 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 During this process, dragon roars were constantly heard from Lu Ming's body. Dragon power burst out one after another. Soon, 5 streams of dragon power burst out. Now, Lu Ming's body had reached the perfected 9th grade. Even if he used all his dragon power, there would not be scales on his skin. He could control them all. Lu Ming's strength increased sharply as 5 streams of dragon power burst out. He used the heaven-suppressing hell skill and slashed down. Hiss! The space shattered like a rag in Lu Ming's hand. The terrifying power made Sanguinarum shiver all over. Oh no! Sanguinarum was shocked. Blood vessels appeared on top of his head and turned into a blood-winged bat. With a roar, the space surged toward Lu Ming like a wave. However, Lu Ming's palm slashed across and the sound wave was split into 2. A terrifying force erupted and blasted heavily on the blood-winged bat. With a miserable shriek, the blood-winged bat was sent flying, blood splattering everywhere. Everyone was dumbfounded. It was simply unbelievable. Shueluozi, a second-class prodigy, was sent flying by Lu Ming with one move. His blood splattered across the sky. This was simply unbelievable. Who was this person? He was too terrifying. Previously, when he saw Lu Ming taking part in the screening, he thought that Lu Ming was a weakling. Now, it seemed that Lu Ming had obviously concealed his abilities. His true combat ability was simply terrifying. Kill! Lu Ming stepped in the air and used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps. He instantly appeared above the blood-winged bat and stomped his feet. Boom! 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 The terrifying power blasted Sanguinarum's body. He spat out a mouthful of blood before his body collapsed and returned to human form. Bang! Lu Ming stomped heavily on Sanguinarum's nose. Sanguinarum's face caved in and smashed into the ground, creating a huge crater. He lay there and spat out blood. Lu Ming's cultivation was at the mid-1st level of the spirit god realm, which was slightly higher than Sanguinarum's. In addition, his 5 intents were almost at the 4th level of the spirit god realm. His power was too strong when he used 5 streams of dragon power. Moreover, Lu Ming's heaven-suppressing hell skill had become even more terrifying after reaching the spirit god realm. He could completely crush Sanguinarum without using his bloodline. Stop! Kid, you're courting death. The people of Cold Blood Hall came to their senses and roared as they charged at Lu Ming. Those who dared to charge at Lu Ming were all in their 40s or 50s. They had cultivated for 10 or 20 years more than Lu Ming and the others. Their cultivation was very high. In an instant, 5 experts charged at Lu Ming. 3 of them were at the 2nd level of the spirit god realm, and 2 were at the 3rd level of the spirit god realm. Kill! Lu Ming shouted as another 2 streams of dragon power erupted. The 9 dragons' bloodline was at the 7th level of the divine realm. There were a total of 7 streams of dragon power. Lu Ming's power was extremely strong. He struck out with his palm, shaking heaven and earth and shattering the space. Bang! 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 In an instant, Lu Ming struck out 5 palms and clashed with each of the 5 experts. Bang, bang, bang. The 3 strong men at the second level of the spirit god realm screamed as their bodies exploded. They were killed in one move. The 2 experts at the third level of the spirit god realm were also seriously injured. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and retreated rapidly with fear in their eyes. The eyes of the people from the small forces almost popped out of their sockets. They had thought that Lu Ming was a weakling, but now they knew that he was a demon king. However, they were overjoyed. The stronger Lu Ming was, the better it would be for them. Only then would they have a chance to escape from Cold Blood Hall's clutches. Devour. Lu Ming clenched his left hand, and the devouring power erupted. The blood essence of the 3 experts at the first level of the spirit god realm were all devoured by Lu Ming. Lu Shaoqing, you're Lu Shaoqing. Sanguinarum, who was still alive, shouted. He had fought with Lu Ming before and recognized the devouring power. What? He's Lu Shaoqing? Those who had heard of Lu Shaoqing were shocked. Kill. Lu Ming stepped into the air and charged at the 2 injured experts at the third level of the spirit god realm. The 2 of them were horrified. They retreated at high speed, but their speed could not be compared to Lu Ming's. Lu Ming's body was like a stream of light, closing in on them at high speed. His palms crushed the void and struck the 2 of them. The 2 tried their best to resist, but it was useless. Their arms exploded and their chests caved in. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and were on the verge of death. Bastard, you're courting death. Shuefeng roared. The other experts also roared and charged at Lu Ming. There were hundreds of people from Cold Blood Hall. Most of them were middle-aged strong men with strong cultivation and amazing battle strength. Shuefeng was the most terrifying. He flashed like a ray of blood light and appeared in front of Lu Ming in an instant. He punched at Lu Ming. Endless blood light flashed and filled the air, pressing down on Lu Ming. This attack was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming's expression changed, and he also punched out. When the 2 fists collided, Lu Ming's body shook violently and was blasted away like a cannonball. He flew back 10,000 meters and smashed a first-level spirit god expert. What a strong battle strength! Lu Ming felt his fists go numb and his qi and blood surge. He was a little shocked. Shuefeng's strength was beyond his imagination. No wonder he was the top genius of Cold Blood Hall. How dare you kill our experts? No one can save you today. Shuefeng's killing intent surged toward Lu Ming. Around him, blood light flashed as other experts charged at Lu Ming. Die, Lu Shaoqing, die. At this moment, Shueluozi had already struggled to get up. He glared at Lu Ming, his eyes almost spitting fire. He was actually tortured so badly by Lu Ming. His nose bridge had been stepped on by Lu Ming, and it was deeply indented. It was beyond recognition. Chapter 1070. Kill. Shuefeng was still the fastest as he arrived first. His fists were like blood diamonds that flickered with a crystalline luster. With a punch, the space was directly shattered. It was extremely terrifying. 4th-level spirit god. Lu Ming's eyes were solemn. Shuefeng's cultivation should be at the 4th level of the spirit god realm, and he was a very powerful genius with unparalleled combat strength. Lu Ming's body was surrounded by 5 colored wills, which increased the power of the hell-suppressing heaven skill. He met Shuefeng's fist with fists and punched several times in succession. Boom, boom. The 2 fists collided and the sky shook as if 2 gods were fighting. Then, Lu Ming was sent flying again and retreated far away. Looks like I have to use my 3rd bloodline. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Shuefeng was too powerful. Even if his talent wasn't as high as Sanguinarum's, it wasn't lower than Huang Kuei's. He should have awakened a 7th-level divine bloodline and should have been a 3rd-grade genius when he was young. If they were at the same level, Lu Ming could kill such a genius with a flip of his hand. However, Shuefeng's cultivation was too high. He was at the 4th level of the spirit god realm, which was 3 levels higher than Lu Ming. Every level in the spirit god realm was a huge gap that was difficult to make up for, not to mention a gap of 3 levels. Moreover, Shuefeng was a top genius. Kill. Kill. 3 strong men pounced at the same time. Powerful auras filled the air. They were all at the third level of the spirit god realm, and they were a level higher than the previous two. Bang, bang, bang. Lu Ming punched out and exchanged 3 blows with the 3 men. The 4 of them retreated at the same time. Xue Feng charged at him from behind. Buzz. At this moment, the mountain in the distance shook and a bright light filled the air, shocking everyone. "That's a door," someone exclaimed. Everyone saw a door of light appear at the top of the mountain. It was sparkling and resplendent, and it emitted a dazzling light. Treasure. It must be a peerless treasure. Charge. Some people from small forces exclaimed, and then charged towards the mountain with blazing light. Don't even think about it. Some people from Cold Blood Hall also charged over. Brat, consider yourself lucky. Xue Feng fiercely glared at Lu Ming, then put down Lu Ming and rushed towards the mountain peak. Although Xue Feng's battle prowess was strong, Lu Ming's battle prowess had also exceeded his expectations. If he wanted to kill Lu Ming in a few moves, it would be very difficult. If the treasures were taken away by those small forces, then the losses would outweigh the gains, so he quickly rushed over. Charge. The rest of the Cold Blood Hall also rushed over. Sanguinarium glared coldly at Lu Ming before he chased after the Cold Blood Hall members. How can I leave when there are treasures here? Lu Ming smiled and rushed over as well. Although Xue Feng was strong, he still had a trump card he hadn't used yet. If he used it, escaping wouldn't be a problem. Thus, Lu Ming didn't fear him at all. Whoosh, whoosh. The sound of something tearing through the air could be heard as the group flew forward. After flying for a while, they realized that there was no formation in front of them. That can't be a herb garden, can it? Lu Ming looked back. The territory they had just seen looked like a herb garden, so there was an inscription formation protecting it. As they continued forward, a huge group of palaces appeared in front of them. The group of palaces seemed to cover a large area, but they were very old and full of the aura of time. Many places had collapsed. The mountain was right in the middle of the group of palaces. It looked as if the mountain had fallen from the sky and smashed into the center of the group of palaces, crushing a large area of them. At this time, the light gate on the mountain was even more dazzling. One could vaguely see a jade talisman floating in the light gate. The light gate was a vision formed by the light emitted by the jade talisman. Treasure. It's definitely a treasure. Someone shouted greedily and rushed toward the group of palaces. Get out of my way, a bunch of ants. You're courting death. Xue Feng roared angrily and continuously punched. The fist radiance broke through the air, and a dozen warriors screamed as they were killed. The others were shocked and kept a distance from Xue Feng. However, there were many people from the other forces, and some of them were experts. After avoiding Xue Feng, they didn't give up and continued to rush forward. Hundreds of people rushed toward the mountain. Lu Ming followed at a steady pace. The group of palaces was not dangerous, and there were no formations. They flew smoothly and arrived at the mountain. This mountain looked like a tiger lying there. It looked very lifelike, as if it had been carved out of a huge rock. On the top of the mountain, there were strange lines protruding, like petrified tree roots. What a strange shape. What a strange mountain. But there was no time to think. Everyone stared at the light gate and the jade talisman. The jade talisman was above the tiger's head. As the crowd flew toward the mountain, a fierce battle broke out. The experts of Cold Blood Hall were extremely domineering. They killed those from the smaller forces. Suddenly, a large number of experts were killed, and the mountain was stained with blood. No one noticed that the blood scattered on the mountain directly seeped into the mountain and disappeared, as if it had been swallowed up. Now's the time. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps and turned into a flowing light. In an instant, he surpassed the experts of Cold Blood Hall and rushed toward the light gate. Boy, how dare you come again? You're courting death. Xue Feng roared and threw punches at Lu Ming. Fist radiance blasted toward him. Lu Ming took a few steps and his figure flashed, avoiding the fist gleams. Let's attack together and kill him. Sanguinarium shouted and ordered the crowd to surround and kill Lu Ming. Kill, kill, kill. Some people from Cold Blood Hall rushed toward Lu Ming, while others continued to rush toward the light gate. At this time, dozens of people from the smaller forces had been killed. The rest of them were terrified and did not dare to fight anymore. They desperately retreated. Cold Blood Hall was completely in control of the battle. Shuefeng was the fastest. Seeing that he was about to reach the light gate, his eyes burned with passion. This jade talisman was definitely a precious treasure. Perhaps it was a powerful inheritance. Whoosh! At this moment, a black light shot out from the mountain and swept toward Shuefeng. Shuefeng was shocked. He threw out a series of punches to block the black light. A tree root? No, it's a vine. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He found that it was a vine that attacked Shuefeng. Who dares to stop me? You're courting death. Shuefeng roared and threw out a series of punches. He wanted to crush everything. At this time, Lu Ming had already exchanged more than a dozen blows with the people from Cold Blood Hall. There were more than a dozen people besieging Lu Ming, including several powerful experts. Buzz, buzz. Blood light filled the air as the Cold Blood Hall experts unleashed their bloodlines. 3 of them had level 5 divine bloodline and were at LV3 spirit god realm. They were the strongest and had amazing battle strength. These 3 were the main force against Lu Ming. The rest of them had level 4 and level 3 divine bloodlines. Their cultivation ranged from the 2nd to the 3rd level of the spirit god realm. They were the elites of the Cold Blood Hall and had powerful combat strength. However, Lu Ming could handle them easily. The main force was the 3 experts with level 5 divine bloodline. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.